That's what Kingdom Builders is about. It's about bringing good news to the world. There are people who are ready to walk into the most difficult countries, the most difficult cities, and the most difficult neighborhoods of our world with the gospel. But they need to be sent. They need somebody to pay the way. They need somebody to pave the way. They need somebody to get them there. And that's what Kingdom Builders is about. And I want to illustrate it today with this illustration. I want you to imagine that you are out at dinner and you are at your favorite restaurant, wherever that might be. Go ahead and imagine it with me for a moment. For me, it's Fogo de Chao, Brazilian steakhouse. Let's go. And you are at dinner and you're sitting there and you've got 3 friends, 3 guests with you. In this seat is A. A lives in Chiang Rai, Thailand, which is on the border of Thailand, Myanmar, and Laos. And the reason she is there is because it's a strategic city. On that border, it is where oftentimes young girls are kidnapped and trafficked because there's access to these 3 different countries. And that's the reason A is there. And A tells you about what she's doing, which is setting up clubs in the most remote villages in Chiang Rai where people are the poorest, and because of that, the most vulnerable to being sent away and exploited. And she begins to tell you about a young girl named May, who she and her team met at one of those clubs. They came into a school and there was a girl named May, and May grew up like a lot of kids in Chiang Rai, Thailand, in a small village in poverty, her parents working long hours in the rice fields, unable really to support her to even continue to go to school without her earning money for the family. And they were approached by somebody who offered to take May to the city and promised, we can get her better education opportunities, we can get her better income opportunities. But what typically happens is it's a path then toward exploitation. But they came into May's school, and there May met them, and because of the relationship began to go to the Daughter Project Center after school, where she encountered the hope of Jesus. She became a part of a family. Now May is at the top of her class. She's learning English. Her parents were able to see that she is excelling, decided not to send her to the city. And as a result, she now has a dream to become a teacher to reach more kids like her. That's May. And then across from you is one of our missionaries who serves with Project 42. Who serves in a country where it is illegal to be a Christian, who serves in an effort to reach the 42% of the world's population that has no access to a church, no access to a missionary, no access to the scripture in their heart language. And they are there, and he tells you about the fact that he has started this church underground through his business, initially with 2 or 3 people who are there, that he's praying would become 20, that he's praying would begin to multiply. He has to whisper when he tells you the names of the places and the people, because it's illegal to do what he's doing, yet he's doing it, and he's there and he's committed because of the call of God on his life. He tells you about one of the first people he led to Jesus who was actually executed for his faith. You say, is that happening? Yes, all the time. And he begins to share. And then in this chair, there is a 7th grader from Tilden Middle School, 2 miles from here. And he begins to share with you about something that started happening during the school day one year in the fall of 2025. That for the first time, a man who looked like him showed up in his classroom to begin to invest in him. You know, in Philadelphia today, 5.3% of teachers are black men. Here's what that means. The vast majority of black young men growing up, going to school today in our city, have never in their life had a teacher stand in front of a classroom that looks like them. They don't have an imagination of excelling in English or science or math. That's not part of their future. The streets are their future. But for the first time, he tells you, somebody who looks like me showed up in my class, began to challenge me, began to cast a vision over my life, began to listen to me, began to invest in me, began to give me a picture of what I could become, a man of character, a man who loves a wife, a man who raises godly kids, a man who gives back to the community, a man who becomes a leader. We have right now kids, one of my favorite stories already this fall at Tilden, one of the kids got in trouble, was sent to the principal's office. That's not my favorite part of the story, but while he was there, he started to cry. And they asked him, why are you crying? And here's what he said. He was afraid because he got in trouble that he was gonna miss the group. That's what the kids are calling the hour they get in the middle of the day to come and meet with our young men who are coming into that school to invest in them and to teach them and to mentor them. And you're sitting at dinner and you're hearing these stories. And here's what I want you to imagine, that as you're hearing these stories, the server comes and puts down the check. What are you gonna do? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab that check. And even if one of them even starts to flinch, I'm gonna say, nope, this is on me. I mean, this is the least I can do. To cover the bill for the meal, this is the least I can do. So that you can be in Thailand and rescue a girl that would otherwise be exploited into a horrific story in future. This is the least I can do. So that you can put your life on the line to reach people for the gospel who have never heard the name Jesus. This is the least I can do. So that you can get a different picture of the future and grow up in Philadelphia believing that you can succeed academically and do something with your life that nobody else in your family has ever done. This is the least I can do. And listen, that is what we do through Kingdom Builders. We're picking up the bill. We're saying there are people who are ready to step into the neighborhood, to step into the country, to step into the city, to go to the border, and we're gonna get them there, and we're gonna pay their way to get there. And when we do, listen, we live out of the heart of Jesus in the heart of a God who gives, and we change